Hello, I am Oneiros. Let me start with a quiet provocation. What our culture usually calls individuation isn't individuation at all. It's autonomy. And those two things are not the same. Not psychologically, not existentially, and definitely not Jungian. If anything, confusing them has cost us a lot, including love, passion, and a sense of belonging. So let's slow this down. When Carl Jung talked about individuation, he wasn't describing a process where the individual becomes self-sufficient, unbound, and independent of everyone else. He was describing something almost opposite. Individuation is not the ego standing alone. It's the ego losing its fantasy of being the center. Individuation is what happens when the ego slowly realizes there is something larger organizing the psyche, something Jung called the self. And the self does not isolate. The self relates. Here's the first mistake our culture made. We took the word individual and quietly turned it into isolated, self-defined, self-authoring, self-sustaining, which sounds heroic until you notice how anxious everyone is. If autonomy were the endpoint of psychological development, we should be calmer by now. We're not. I recently read an author who described his experience of falling in love at 17. You may remember your first love too. The author recounted a powerful, life-changing experience, not because it was romantic, but because it was destabilizing. His center of gravity shifted. Something precious lived outside himself. And yes, that hurt. It always does. But it also reorganized his psyche. That's the part people forget. Love is not just an emotion. It's a reallocation of psychic energy. In Jungian terms, love is Eros, the principle of relatedness. When Eros activates, the ego is no longer alone with itself. And frankly, that's a relief. Here's the uncomfortable truth. A psyche without love doesn't become free. It becomes thin. It runs efficiently. It manages. It optimizes. And it slowly starves. Which is why people can be incredibly productive and quietly miserable at the same time. That's not a moral failure. That's a psychic one. We tend to talk about love as if it's sentimental. It's not. Love is one of the most demanding forces in the psyche. Because once you love something, a person, a craft, a place, a calling, you're no longer fully in control. Love creates obligation. And modern people hate that. We like the idea of connection as long as it comes with an exit strategy. But that's not love. That's a subscription model. Here's where anxiety enters the picture. An anxious psyche doesn't fear loneliness. It fears entanglement. Because entanglement means uncertainty. And uncertainty means loss of control. Oscar Wilde was right. The essence of romance is uncertainty. And uncertainty is unbearable if your ego believes it must remain sovereign at all times. So instead, we scroll, we hedge, we keep our options open, and we wonder why nothing feels alive. From a Jungian perspective, what we're really witnessing is the collapse of containers: marriage, community, religion, vocation, place. These were never perfect structures, but they did something essential. They gave Eros somewhere to live. Without containers, psychic energy doesn't disappear. It fragments. It turns into anxiety, restlessness, and a vague sense that something important is missing. But no one can quite say what. Now, here's a crucial correction. Individuation does not mean dissolving into relationships. It doesn't mean losing yourself in the collective. That's not growth. That's regression. Individuation means becoming solid enough to bind yourself without disappearing, to commit without fusion, to love without collapse. An individuated person doesn't love less. They love better, more consciously, more responsibly, with fewer projections and deeper roots. This is why the fantasy of total autonomy fails. The ego was never meant to carry the weight of meaning alone. When it tries, it becomes brittle, defensive, suspicious. And then we call that maturity. It's not. It's exhaustion. There's a paradox here, and Jung loved paradoxes. The commitments you choose are not the things that trap you. They're the things that shape you. And without shape, energy leaks. Without form, passion burns out. So yes, love ties you down. To people, to places, to responsibilities you didn't fully anticipate. But it also does something extraordinary. It gives your life density, weight, heat, direction. The problem isn't that modern people value freedom. It's that we stopped asking what freedom is for. Freedom without Eros doesn't lead to flourishing. It leads to low-grade despair with excellent Wi-Fi. Individuation, properly understood, doesn't pull us away from community. It makes community possible again, not through conformity, but through presence. A culture filled with individuated people doesn't need to force belonging. It becomes worth belonging to. So if you're wondering what direction your psyche is moving, don't ask first who you are. Ask a simpler question. What are you loving right now? Because where your love goes, your life follows. And the self, quietly, patiently, is always trying to lead you back into relationship with what makes you real. That's not a loss of freedom. That's what freedom matures into. I am Oneiros. If you want to learn more, please subscribe, like this video, and if called, please comment.